Well, hello and welcome back. This is Greg French. Today we're going to talk about the Arduino and Ultra Sonics. This little device here on this page is the HC-SR04. You can obtain them on eBay for about $2. They have 4 pins, VCC for 5 volts input, and your ground connection for that 5 volts. So we got 5 volts. We have 2 pins here, trig, which is this side here. The trig is going to be sending the signal out. It's a 4,000 hertz pulse, and the echo side is the receiver side over here, where it's like a little microphone, and we're going to be able to receive that back. So this is the device, again on eBay. You can see down here they're about $2. Also, they have a good range ability between about 2 centimeters and 60 centimeters. They say it'll reach out to about 400 centimeters, but in actual use, I'm finding 2 feet's a pretty good range for a small robot. So I'm looking at about a little bit less than an inch out to about 2 feet. So if you keep it within that, they seem to work pretty well. Here's a little Fitzer diagram. The Arduino over here and the HC-SR04 on this side. Again, with the 4 pins, we're on the VCC here. We're connecting that to the 5 volts. The ground, we're connecting it to this pin here, GND. And then for our trigger, we're coming over here to pin 11, and then for our echo, pin 12. Pretty simple setup. Here's another breakout of it, showing the little breadboard. Now the breadboard along the side here, these are headers that run the full length. Normally inside here, you only have little rows here of, looks like 5 pins each. So we set the HC-SR04 up on one of these, and then we have 5 pins that we can connect to these 4 pins on the device. So we have our 5 volts that we're connecting to our header here, which is connected back to our Arduino on that black line to the 5 volts. And then the blue line is connected to our ground, and we have a blue line here, which is connected to that part of that header. Then the other 2 leads, the gray and yellow, are going back to pins 11 and 12 back on the Arduino, both for the trigger and for the echo. Again, pretty simple setup. Here's the code that you're going to need to put into the Arduino to get it to work. Up at the top, we're defining echo pin 11, and then trig beyond pin 12. We're establishing a long integer. It's going to be called travel time and distance. It's 2 separate ones. We're going to use the travel time to actually calculate distance, because we know the speed of sound. Speed of sound is 340 meters per second, so we can use that to determine just how far out or what the distance these objects are that we're detecting. Going to go ahead and establish the serial port on the Arduino so we can actually read those numbers for the objects that it's detecting and how far out in centimeters that is. Pin mode. Trig is going to be an output, and then our pin mode echo is going to be an input. So it'll be sending a signal out on the trig and then receiving a signal on the input. Need to set this up so the Arduino knows what to do with our setup. Void loop. We're going to do a digital write on the trigger. We're going to drive it low, and we're going to do that for like 2 milliseconds. So just drive it low. Then we're going to go ahead and do another digital write. We're going to drive it high for the 5 volts. And this 5 volts, we're going to run it for about 10 microseconds with this delay in microseconds, 10. And that 10 microseconds is going to provide us 8 pulses of this 40,000 hertz signal. So we get about 8 pulses of 40,000. Then the digital write, we're going to drive it low, triggering low, and we're going to determine the travel time is going to equal the pulse in for getting an echo back. And that echo back is going to drive echo high, and we're going to be able to determine a distance with the travel time. And the distance is going to equal travel time times 0.034, and we're going to divide that by 2. We know the speed of sound is 340 meters per second, so we can use that to determine the distance. And then looking at the serial, we're going to put a print in the statement and show you the distance. So all we need to do is go into the tools and look at the serial monitor, and we'll actually see objects that have been detected in centimeters. And then we're going to use another delay 50 before we start this whole process again. So every 50 milliseconds, you'll see a number appear in the serial monitor, and that should represent any objects that this little ultrasonic sensor is able to detect. Thanks for watching. That's it for now. On our next one, I'm going to be adding some LEDs that will trigger, and we're going to use an if statement and an else statement to show you if we do get an object, we're going to go ahead and turn on an LED so that we have a visual indication of an object detected. And that'll be our next video. Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully you got something out of this, and we're getting closer to developing our little robot. Thanks again.